For these problems, you're going to increase a number 10 times. So remember, increase makes it bigger. So you're going to make each number bigger by 10 times. We've done this a lot, but these questions look a little different. Notice these questions are set up as a times 10 multiplication problem, but you can solve them the same way that we've been increasing numbers by 10 times. And let's look at some examples on how you would do that. Okay, so for number 1, we see that we need to do 640 times 10, which means we're increasing 640 by 10 times. So without doing multiplication, if you think about the relationships between place values, you can do this easily. So right now we have 640. 640. Well, we've been talking about how between each place value, if you go from the right to the left, every time you do that, you're multiplying by 10. So if we want to take 640 and we want to multiply it by 10, all we have to do is shift this number one place to the left. So now instead of 6 being in the hundreds place, 6 is going to be in the thousands place. And now instead of 4 being in the tens place, 4 will be in the hundreds place. And instead of 0 being in the ones place, it would move into the tens place. That does leave a blank in one of our places, so we have to fill that blank one in with a 0. So 640 times 10 is 6,400. Notice each digit just moved one place to the left. So let's look at number 2. So right now we have 101 times 10. So right now we have a 1 in the hundreds place, a 0, and a 1. In order to increase it 10 times or multiply it by 10, all you really have to do is shift every one of these digits into a bigger place value. So we can move this 1 into the thousands place, the 0 into the hundreds place, and the 1 into the tens place. That does leave now a blank, so we need to make sure that we add that 0 there as a placeholder, and our value ends up being 1,010. So for 811 times 10, again, we just need to move each of these place values to one place to the left. So instead of the 8 being in the hundreds place, we need to move it to the thousands place. And instead of 1 being in the tens place, it needs to be in the hundreds place. And instead of this one being in the ones place, it needs to move to the tens place. When we do that, we have a blank now where the ones used to be, and we need to fill that in with the 0. So we're just shifting everything one place to the left when we're multiplying by 10 times. So on 224, it needs to shift to 2,240. And that would be your answer. So 224 times 10 is 2,240. 971 times 10 would be 9,710. Remember, you always have to put that 0 as the placeholder for the ones place since nothing is in the ones place anymore. So 923 would be 9,230. And 952 would be 9,520 with that 0 as the placeholder for the ones place now. The more problems you solve, the more you begin to notice that all of these digits end up having a 0 at the end for the placeholder. So what you can say is that when you multiply a number by 10, what you really can do is just take that number and add a 0 to the end of it. So your new number would be 1,010. So you can take this number, 811, and just add a 0 to the end of it. And then your new number would be 8,110. Do you see the pattern? So you take the original number, 224, and you add a 0 to the end of it, redo your comma, and you end up with the same answer. So when you're multiplying by 10, you can always just take the number you're multiplying and add a 0 to the end. and you'll come up with the answer like that too. All right, you try some on your own, and if you need help, you can rewatch the video. Good luck!